Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. As you know, it's Plastic Free July, a movement that has inspired 326 million in countries across the world, all aiming to be part of the plastic pollution solution. Joining us right now is Rukhsana Kausar from Liquid of Life, who's going to tell you what you can do to get involved. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Casey. Yes, it's lovely to be here, and I think Plastic Free July is actually one of my favorite times of the year as well, because it's a month that is dedicated towards shedding a focus on the issues of plastic pollution, but really trying to motivate and inspire and encourage people to look at how we are living and working and behaving, and some of the things that we can do to make changes that will start having more of a positive impact.
Amazing. And we're going to have a little show and tell later, which is like all the little steps that we can do to improve, to reduce plastic consumption in our life. But let's say, for example, someone who's interested in getting involved, how much of an impact can, let's say, reducing plastic consumption for 1 month have?
I mean, it has an incredible impact, because, you know, even like one simple act of, switching to, carrying a reusable bag with you and stop using single-use plastic bags or using other plastic items, when you take into account that you develop that habit and then that habit stays with you for life, and you inspire other people in your community, your family and friends, then that will start having a considerable impact. And we're not telling people that everyone has to be perfect and we have to get rid of all the plastic in your life. So Plastic Free July isn't about going completely plastic free, not for everyone, but it is about, taking, some steps to try to make some changes in your life, and that will have a massive impact globally. If everyone did something, then that helps.
Well, it's interesting because to go fully plastic free can be daunting, but of course there's all the little steps that we can take. Can you tell us how Liquid of Life is involved and what part you guys take in this month?
Yeah, so I mean,
and tell us also what Liquid of Life is, to give us a bit of background.
Yeah, sure. So basically, Liquid of Life, I started back in 2009. So we kind of focus on, talking about the issues about plastic pollution and climate change, and try to encourage people to switch to filtered water and reduce our dependency on single-use plastic water bottles. So we do a lot of work with, corporate clients, residential customers, people working in the hospitality sector and leisure sectors to implement a range of solutions. So it gives people access to fresh filtered drinking water, and then you don't need to purchase and consume plastic water bottles. So that's one of the, easy steps that people can do as well to reduce plastic waste.
It's so interesting because I personally, try and recycle, but I know the number of plastic water bottles I use is not okay, and I recycle them, but it's too much. But in terms of let's say a resident, you live in an apartment or a villa in Dubai, what is the, let's say, price comparison if you want to go into a water filter solution? Is it gonna ruin your bank account, or is it actually affordable?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, the thing is that we do focus on affordability. So if we want people to transition and make changes, I think affordability is really important. And so if you take the average person, might be, for example, consuming 3 of the 5-gallon bottles a week, the average family of maybe 4 or 5 people, and they're spending 8 dirhams on the 5-gallon bottles. They're just consuming 3 a week. That ends up costing them 1,400 dirhams a year. So I think sometimes, you think that you're not spending that much. When you add it up, you can actually end up spending quite a lot.
Yeah.
Our solutions for homes start around 950 dirhams
a year,
and then the replacement filters are 600 dirhams. So you can save money in the first year, save even more money in the second year, and help the planet as well at the same time.
And it's not a life thing, so it's a yearly thing, right?
It's a yearly thing,
which is quite good for people who are moving around and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we need to change the filters every 12 months and stuff, so yeah.
Makes sense. So water is one thing that we could definitely reduce plastic on. What else can people do at home to get involved?
Tons of stuff, and that's a good thing, because we can get really negative about the impacts of plastic pollution and the impact it does have on the planet and the marine life and everything. But you can start from, for example, one of the favorite swaps that I made was
like
actually
swaps. Cute.
Yeah, so it is like this dish brush, and it's so simple. And so every home pretty much probably will have the plastic sponges to wash dishes. So switching to a dish brush that's made from bamboo and natural fibers, and it lasts a lot longer, and it's just more eco-friendly. And so that's one way of kind of like reducing plastic waste. So one of my favorite companies as well is The Botanist. So you can get a range of kind of so you support a local company and you buy more eco-friendly products.
So where, like this, first of all, it's also quite aesthetic. Where do you get it?
So you can get that from The Botanist. So if you can go online, I know that they stock in Spinneys, and you can also pick these up from Green Heart Organic Farm Shop. So I think sometimes the solutions are in front of us. We just need to adopt, and we just need to change
100%.
From the habit and stuff. And I would never go back to buying a plastic sponge again. And it's things like bamboo toothbrushes. You can get these everywhere now as well. And so the whole idea as well is about reducing plastic. And so you can have bamboo toothbrushes.
It says natural whitening, soft bristles, naturally antibacterial, smooth handle, and much more
BPA
organic
and
friendly.
Stuff. It's more organic friendly. It is, and some of the things, obviously carrying a reusable bottle. So, for example, when I get up in the morning, I'm filling up at home. I go to the office. I have access to filtered water. The restaurants that I go to tend to send me filtered water. The salon I go to sells me filtered water.
Is that because you know where you're going?
I know where I'm going, and that's why as a consumer we can also find out where things are. But also, if you go somewhere and they're serving you plastic water bottles, speak to them, engage with them, say, look, there are alternatives, there are solutions, there's more supplies in the market than there's ever been. So it's easy for people to make that transition and switch, if you're looking for those solutions, and try to, because I think as consumers, we have a lot of power to also influence change. So go to your favorite restaurant. If they're still serving plastic water bottles, ask them if they can, consider and look into it. And so,
well, it's interesting with the water at restaurants, because I think usually the conversation is about local versus international water, and that's not fully plastic related. But now we're talking about filters, which seems a much better solution all around. How many restaurants, for example, like, is it common for restaurants to have filtered water? Because it's a question I honestly never thought to ask.
I mean, it's getting more common. There's a number of restaurants that we visit, like Lime Tree, for example. They offer welcome water that's also filtered.
Of course,
you've got organizations like Noodle House, Little Neighborhood.
They led the cause with the straws as well, right?
Yes.
So Jumeirah is 100% behind this.
Yes, exactly, and stuff. And so the whole idea as well is like, sometimes we also say it's not a case of swapping something for something else. You can actually just refuse. The first step is to refuse. You don't actually really need a straw. They got through behind the campaign of Stop Sucking. But if you do need a straw, then there's better materials, like younger children who might want to use a straw. Also, people of determination might need to have access to straws. But there's much better eco-friendly alternatives and reusable alternatives as well.
Nice. I have seen plenty of paper straws more commonly, and also I've seen a material that says it looks like plastic but says not plastic on it.
Yes.
The Progetto SI have that too. And then these are awesome. These are like, what material is this?
Yeah, so that's stainless steel as well, and then they come with straw cleaners as well, and there's glass as well. I didn't have glass one, but
there's a glass straw.
There's a glass straw.
It's a bit dangerous, to be honest.
It's super cool, and it's a really thick, strengthened glass. And it is actually quite difficult to break. You really have to drive very hard.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's absolutely fine. You're not going to sell a product that's gonna.
So it's just so many things that you can do, and I think what we do is that you also don't have to go out and buy all of this stuff. Like, sometimes look at the things that you already have in your house. So, for example, I enjoy going to the cinema. So I was there on the weekend. I watched Hitman's Bodyguard. Have you seen it?
No. Has anyone seen Hitman's Bodyguard?
I've seen it.
It's good. Excellent.
I feel like I've heard it's good. Yeah.
Go watch it. It's very good. So, and so I always end up taking this with me. And I think I'm the only person in Dubai that probably goes to a cinema and orders edamame. Everyone's always on the nachos or the popcorn, but I take this with me. They put the edamame in here. I eat it, put the shells back in here, take it home, and I compost that. And so I'm going to the cinema, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm having a plastic-free experience. So there's lots of things that we can do in our everyday lives to adopt sustainable habits and be a bit more mindful about the waste that we're creating and trying to reduce that waste.
100%. And the thing is, this is all obviously for a greener environment.
Yeah.
But what about plastic consumption in terms of how overuse of plastic, can that ever impact our health?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the World Health Organization is actually now conducting a global study on the impacts of microplastics on human health. So, plastic, was invented back in the 1950s by Alexander Parks, who actually made the first man-made plastics. And then since
what do you think of him?
Interesting. He created plastic as a way to actually save the planet. And he did that because back then, a lot of everyday items like brushes and combs and buttons, for example, were made from ivory and tortoiseshell. Right, so those were very damaging, to the environment, and so he actually ended up creating plastic as an alternative to help save animals and turtles, and also produce a material that was more affordable and mainstream, so everyone could afford, everyday items, and so that's the history of plastic, and that's really how it started. And he actually, his invention was also exhibited in 1862 at the London Expo, where he actually won a Bronze Innovation Award for his invention.
Wow.
Now, fast forward to today, I think what we need to be doing is looking at how we are consuming plastic, what are the uses, and, tackle what, try to get rid of the single-use plastics. And so, I think with our health then, this has arisen because of our inability to deal with plastic waste. Right, so we've consumed all this plastic, we've led, very convenient lives, and we've had a throwaway culture. We've not dealt with the waste. It's ended up in the landfills, it's ended up in the oceans, it's breaking down, fish are eating the plastic, we're eating fish, it's in us. We're consuming everyday items and food that has come into contact with containers, so we're exposed to plastic, and plastic is in us as well. And so the World Health Organization is conducting a global study on the impacts of microplastics on human health. And so the best thing that we can do right now is to try to reduce our exposure that we do have to plastics. So obviously one of the simple ways that people can do is carry a reusable bottle that's not a plastic. But you do get, plastics that are made with BPA free materials and stuff. But switching to something that is more eco-friendly and reusable, you do end up reducing your exposure to plastic chemicals like BPA, phthalates, dioxins, and obviously microplastics as well.
So there are definitely health benefits there.
There's definitely health benefits there as well, and it helps to continue reducing waste and protecting the planet.
You did mention that originally plastic was made as a cheaper alternative.
Yes.
And now there could be a preconceived notion that actually going plastic free is more expensive.
Yeah.
Is there any truth in that?
It depends really, because when you also end up going plastic free, sometimes you will end up eliminating things that you just stop using, so you'll save money. I think a lot of businesses who got behind the Stop Sucking campaign and also the useless utensils, they're not buying the cutlery anymore. So they've saved money from eliminating the single-use plastics. So there's definitely ways of saving costs, and then it pays to invest in something that's really good quality in order to reduce consumption. So I'm very much as well a bulk girl. I love buying bulk. I hate shopping, so I always try to buy bulk. And one of my other favorite companies is Co-Ethical, and I buy a 10-liter refill bag, that box that contains the laundry liquid. And so it's 10 liters. Yes, it's costing me more initially, but it does end up saving me money because I'm not, and plastic as well, because I'm not buying 10 1-liter containers. I've got a box with 10 liters of laundry liquid.
Is that another UAE company?
So it's another UAE-based company, and so the solutions are out there. There's, I'll spend more money initially buying that, but it lasts me, a good couple of months, and I'm reducing plastic packaging and plastic waste. So there are lots of things that you can do. There's more options. From when I came to Dubai over like 12 years ago, it's amazing to see that there is this kind of like, new ecosystem, what I like, of, sustainable businesses that are here to provide people with alternatives. You mentioned before about plastic bags, going to supermarkets, you go to Spinneys and Waitrose and they've got gorgeous jute bags for people to use. And it's just, it's there in front of us. We just need to form the habits and make the commitments and pledges, and I think that's what this month is really about. If we focus on this and then we develop these habits, and then it's about sticking to the habits beyond July. So I think we've kind of made a mess of that planet. We can spend ages talking about it, but it's about what we can do now.
100%.
Yeah.
That's amazing and well said, and 100% agree. And what struck me here is that the UAE, let's say in terms of like recycling, I think people aren't as advanced as some other countries. However, you have named some amazing local companies. You said The Botanist here, obviously yourself, Liquid of Life. Is there any other kind of local companies that people can use as a simple solution for recycling?
So, there's a number of, what I tend to do is try to encourage people to look at your own communities. Like, we've got recycling bins in our communities. For glass though, I take some of my glass stuff to Al Barsha Pond Park because they've got a nice recycling station there as well. There are some organisations like Union Paper Mills will come and collect some of your waste as well, especially if you've got lots of cardboards and paper waste. If you've done moving and you've got lots of cardboard, there are organisations. There's other organisations like Enviroserve and Green Truck, so they can also come and take some of your waste. So there are opportunities, I think, and I think it's about engagement as well.
100%.
Find out what happens to that waste as well. I think it's important to segregate waste. The more waste you segregate, the easier the recycling processes are. So there's a lot that we can do as consumers as well. Yeah.
This is it, and it's all just about education really too, because obviously learning that there's a lot of things that we here can do in the UAE, but it's just learning more about it. So that's why it was amazing to have you on the show this morning to give us a little bit more information about how we can go plastic free.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Guys, if you have any questions and you'd like to reach out to Rukhsana, if you have any questions about Liquid of Life, how can they reach you?
So you can contact us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is at Liquid of Life DXB. Our website is www.liquidoflife.net. So best thing to do is reach us on Instagram. Our website has our contact details as well to reach out to us.
Thank you. I'm just seeing Hamad has said we need more incentives for people to encourage them to recycle.
I think I think there are going to be a lot of changes that are going to happen, and sometimes, and I have these conversations with a lot of people within our group, but I think sometimes is it not enough incentive that it's the right thing to do, right?
He may not be speaking personally. He may be speaking as a country
as well. It's like, because I came from a background and my values are not to litter. Like, if we were out and we were playing outside and we were having lollipops or sweets and stuff, we'd have it and then we'd put the sweet wrapper in our pocket. We wouldn't litter. We'd take it home and then we'd put it in the bin, right? So it's recycling or switching to reusables is the right thing to do.
Teaching those values from day one. Yeah. Guys, that is all we have time for today on the Lovin Daily. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're back with you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Thank you, Rukhsana.
Thank you so much. Awesome.
Bye.